Romans, proper noun. Al-Hasanu, Al-Hussein, again has al in front. So these are few. There are a couple of other companions' names. May Allah be pleased with them all, where al is used. But generally speaking, al you will not add to a proper noun. You will never see in Arabic tanween and al on the same word. This is very, very important rule. Please note it down. You will never see al and tanween on the same word. So for example, we have here muslimun, and then we have munafiqatan, and then we have mu'minin. You will note in the first three examples, a Muslim, a hypocrite, a believer. Three words. This rule applies everywhere in the Arabic language. If I want to say the Muslim, I will put al in front. So I've added al in front, and I end up with removing the tanween. This is a very important rule. Please remember it. Whenever you add al to a word, the tanween must be removed. You will never ever see a word in Arabic which has al and tanween at the same time. So please make a note of that, inshallah, as you go, because you will be doing these changes yourselves. You need to make note of that. So whatever the tanween is, if it's the tanween with two dhamma, two pesh, it will be single. Al-Muslimu. In the next example, we have munafiqatan. Okay, we have two fathas. A hypocrite. I want to say the hypocrite, female hypocrite here. Al-munafiqata. I can see here again, single corresponding vowel. Corresponding, whatever it was there before, you don't change anything. Just remove the tanween. So from tan, it becomes ta. Al-munafiqata. Again, you can see very clearly here. And then we have the last example, mu'minin. Mu'minin, a believer. It will simply become al-mu'mini. Al-mu'mini. So all you're going to do is remove the tanween and look for the corresponding single vowel sign, and you'll put that there. So tanween and al never go together on the same word, and whenever you add al, you remove the tanween. So when we look at these words now on the screen, we have muallimani. It means two teachers. Don't worry about this. We're covering it in lesson number 4. Two teachers. I want to say the two teachers. Not any two teachers, the two teachers. I would put al in front. But note, the word has no tanween. Therefore, there will be no change at the end. Muallimani. No change. Kafiruna becomes al-kafiruna, the disbelievers. So indefinite, definite, no change whatsoever. Only thing al can do with tanween is remove it. That's it. On the others, it will not impact in any other way. Mu'minatin. Now this one has tanween. So what does it become? Al-mu'minati, the believers. Don't worry, these words, plurals and so on. Lesson number 4. Inshallah, be patient. We're going to go there. But let's go one step at a time. So if the word has no tanween, al will not make any impact to the changes at the end. Only with tanween will we see the removal of the tanween with a single vowel symbol or vowel sign. Please note this very important point. So many people have asked me questions, and I'm not sure where the confusion has come from, but let's see if inshallah if we can remove this confusion. A lot of people are under the impression, maybe from what they heard or read somewhere, that tanween is a sign of indefinite, i.e. tanween means a or an. Technically, in some cases this is true, but this is not the case. The use of a and an in English really is dependent upon the rules of the English language and has nothing to do with tanween or Arabic. For example, look here, I'm saying mu'minun means a believer. So I will use a here in English. I could say believer, but a believer is more accurate in English. Imamun, I'm going to say an imam. But I have another word next to it, kabirun, big. I don't say a big in English, right? I just translate as big. It's an adjective. Ba'idun, far. Jamilatun, beautiful. I don't say a beautiful in English. I could say this is a beautiful house, this is a beautiful car, but generally speaking, I don't use, when I translate beautiful, a in front. So the translation of tanween is dependent upon the English language. It has nothing to do with it being indefinite. So please note, tanween is not a sign of something being indefinite. There are a number of definite nouns in Arabic, proper nouns, that have tanween. Take example here. Muhammadun has got tanween, but it is definitely a proper noun, so it is definite. Nuhun, Nuh, has tanween at the end, but it is definite, so it is not indefinite. Mahmudun, Hamidun. So there are many nouns which are proper nouns will have tanween at the end. You do not remove the tanween. It is a proper noun, is there, and it is not a sign that it is indefinite. Why some words take tanween, why some words don't, this is more further discussion inshallah. But for now, remove this idea that tanween is a sign of something being indefinite all the time. This is simply not the case. There are many indefinite isms in Arabic that do not have tanween. Take an example with what we have on the screen. We have akbaru, no tanween, means greater. Masajidu, mosques, no tanween, plural, meaning more than three or more mosques. Ahmaru, red color, no tanween. Bushra, good news, no tanween. So you will come across many, thousands and thousands of isms in Arabic that will have no tanween, but it is indefinite. So what is definite, what is not definite has nothing to do with tanween as a primary rule. It is only the 7 categories I'm giving you in this lesson, and if they fall within those 7 categories, it will be definite. One more important thing to note, whenever you see al in Arabic, it is not always that you will need to translate the. Let me give you a few examples inshallah here. Al-qalamu, the pen. Now in Arabic you will see al-jadidu, but in English you will not translate the new. Especially when it comes to adjective phrase, inshallah, you will not translate. But in Arabic, you need to put al in front. Again, when the lesson comes, we'll look at it in more detail. But just because you see al, do not always go, I'm going to translate the. Again, you're going to follow the rules of the English language. That is the language you're translating into, or that is the language you're trying to understand in. And we have al-Islamu. Now, Islam in English is a proper noun, so we don't add the in front. But in Arabic, you'll see al in front of it. And there are many other words, like, for example, ad-deenu. You don't say the deen, for example. Again, there are many like so. And here we have al-ilmu. We don't necessarily need to say the knowledge. It will depend on the context. So please note, when you see al, it is not always necessary that you'll have the in the translation. But as far as Arabic is concerned, that word is definite. Why is it definite? Because it has al in front. So you need to start thinking in this way. What is it there? Does it have does it belong to one of the 7 categories of definite? It has al, so it's definite. I'm not interested in what happens in the English language as far as Arabic language rules are concerned. Al also has no impact on changing the i'rab of a word or of an ism. Here, for example, if you remember this sentence I asked you to recall in lesson number 1, 3 famous sentences that we're going to use throughout our lessons, inshallah, to help us understand i'rab. Here we can see it, ja'a rajulun. Why ja'a rajulun? Because this is the doer of the verb ja'a. So it needs to be in rafa. So we have rajulun. Ra'aytu, we need to change it to rajulan. Why do we need to change it to rajulan? Because it is the object of the verb, to see. I saw, what did I see? I saw a man. And then third we have, I gave salam. It's coming after the word ala, which is a preposition. It will always be in jar. So you can see here I have, a man came, ja'a rajulun. I saw a man, ra'aytu rajulan. I gave salam to a man, sallamtu ala rajulin. On the other hand, if I want to say the man came, I saw the man, I gave salam to the man, all I'm doing is changing it to ar-rajulu. It is still rafa. Why? Because it is the doer of the verb. Ra'aytu, I saw, ar-rajula, the man. It is still nasab. Has to be nasab. Why? It is the object. And sallamtu ala rajulin or ar-rajuli, it will be jar. So ar-rajulu rafa, ar-rajula nasab, ar-rajuli jar. Same as rajulun rafa, rajulan nasab, and rajulin jar. The i'rab will not be changed. The i'rab will not be changed, I repeat, based upon al. It will be exactly the same. So as I mentioned in the earlier notes in lesson 1, the sign of i'rab is either tanween or u. Only for these types of words, by the way, please note that this category, it will be definite or indefinite, does not matter. Un will indicate that it is rafa, u will indicate that it is rafa. And why is it u? Because of al. The same goes for the other two examples. Again, it's an area of confusion. Many people under the some impression that somehow when you add al, the i'rab changes. No, because the i'rab as far as rafa, nasab and jar is concerned remains the same. And again, please go back and watch the video on rice. Role, i'rab, category, and expression. This will clarify all doubts. And i'rab, unfortunately, is usually very complex for Arabic non-Arabs to understand. And then many people give up Arabic. Please trust me, be patient, and inshallah it makes sense. So please note these points. Al will not change the i'rab. We've already covered the first 4, and again they will be discussed in more detail. Proper nouns, inshallah, I'll give you a list on 6.9. Pronouns, lesson number 5, we'll introduce them. And of course, demonstrative nouns, lesson number 12. And al, we've already covered in this lesson, which is lesson number 2. The other 3, please don't worry about them, inshallah. They will be covered also in dedicated lessons. And the next one is the relative nouns. I will be going through them in lesson number 15 for you, which is the last lesson of book 1. And the vocative we will do after we've done verbs. It's used about 300 times in the Quran, inshallah. But after we've learned the verbs, we'll appreciate them a little bit more and it'll be easier to understand. So I moved them into book number 2. And the last 7th one, we will study, inshallah, in lesson number 10 and 11. I'm only going to give you a brief example with 5, 6, and 7, just to complete the lesson. But please don't worry about them at this stage. Inshallah, in the appropriate lesson, Allah give tawfiq, we will try to explain them in some detail for you so that you will have all the information that you need. At the beginning, when you begin your study, if you try to catch everything, you will end up with catching nothing. So focus on the easy ones first and most common. Inshallah, as you begin to see and use them, the others will fall into place. Trust me, this is the best method of going. At the beginning, learning whole load of terminology is not going to help us at the beginning. So first 4, inshallah, get them today from this lesson. The other 3, let's take a very brief look at them. Relative pronouns. They are similar in English when we say that, who, whom, those who. These are all relative pronouns. For example, in English, when I say all that glitters is not gold. All that glitters is not gold. So word that is a relative pronoun in English. In Arabic, they are a category of ism, and they're used 3,500 plus times in the Quran. So very, very important. And I've given you the biggest or the most important list in lesson number 15, inshallah, where you'll have them and you'll also see how they're used. They're primarily used with verbs. So in book 2, after we finish the study of verbs, we'll be able to appreciate them fully. But I have given you a complete listing in lesson number 15 with a brief summary of how they're used with some common examples. So for now, just note 2 words which you should be familiar with. Alladhi. For example, in Surah Alaq, we read, Alladhi allama bil qalam. If you know this ayah, it'll help you. Remember, the one who taught by the pen. And of course, the second one you should all know, Sirata alladhina, Sirata alladhina an'amta alayhim. The path of those who you have favored or whom you have favored. So you can see here, Alladhi, alladhina. Very commonly used in the Quran. Relative pronouns in Arabic, they're a category of ism, and they're always definite. Vocative. In English, you may not be familiar with the word because we don't necessarily learn English grammar. Vocative is when you call somebody or address someone. A room full of teachers. You want to address me, for example. You say, yeah, or oh teacher. All right? Hey man in English. We use other terms like so. Hey man. I'm sure in every culture you have one way of addressing somebody specific. So room full of people, you want to attract one person, so you call. And this is called munada in Arabic. Al-munada, the vocative, the one being called. Now the vocative in Arabic is used, I think, about 170-80 times in the Quran, and we will cover them in book 2. So example here, Ya ustadhu, O teacher. Ya rajulu, O man. Okay, again, and so on, many examples. So you'll use it like this in Arabic, inshallah. And again, please just make a note that it's definite. Don't worry about the rules related to that. We'll pick them up later. The seventh category of definite is called an indefinite noun connected to a definite. Please don't worry. Lesson 10 and 11 will come to it. So for example, take the word Rasul. Rasul means a messenger. Could be any messenger. It could be messenger I sent, or it could be messenger you sent. Messenger, somebody carries a message. But when we say Rasulullahi, now it becomes specific. Why? It is not any messenger. It is the messenger of Allah. Something significant, right? Specific. The messenger of Allah. So an indefinite noun has been made definite by connecting it to somebody or something which is already definite. Rasuluhu, his messenger. Of course, we here referring to Allah Azza wa Jal. So his messenger. It's not non-specific, it is specific. For example, if I say his pen, it is not an ordinary pen anymore. It is his pen, specific pen. Pen is indefinite. When you attach it to something or link it to something which is definite, it will become definite. And this will be picked up in lesson 10 and 11. So this is your seventh category of ism that are always definite in Arabic. Let's conclude part 1 by summarizing the 7 categories of ism that are definite in Arabic. The first, al-ism al-alam, the proper noun, always definite. Then we have ad-dama'ir, pronouns, which refer to a specific thing or person or a place. Asma'ul ishara, or pointing words, demonstrative nouns, words that are used to point to something. And then we have al-mu'arrafu bil-lam, the one we looked at in some detail in this lesson, definite by al. Remember, al is a definite article in Arabic. Number 5, we have relative nouns. We're going to call them nouns, even though in English they're called relative pronouns. Al-asma'ul mawsula, the relative nouns. And we have al-munada, vocative, when you address or call someone. And the 7th one we have, which is something indefinite related to a definite noun. So this is what we're going to be studying. Inshallah, all 7 of them going to be covered in this course. Inshallah, we'll have a full overview of it as we progress through. Again, the reason why the order of I'm teaching them in a certain order is because these are the ones that are going to give you the highest yield in your understanding of Quran, and all of them based upon the frequency of the way they're used in the Quran. And of course, we've chosen only the most common that you will find in the Quran, inshallah. That's it, alhamdulillah, for lesson 1, part 1. Inshallah, in the second video, we will cover part 2, where we look at practically how to form nominal sentences in Arabic. By Allah's grace, we're only on lesson number 2, and we should be able to, with the knowledge that we've acquired from the previous lesson and this lesson, start forming and translating some simple sentences in Arabic, nominal sentences. And if you recall from the introduction, they're the ones that begin with an ism, and they're called nominal sentences in Arabic. Please like, subscribe and share. Encourage others to learn also. Inshallah, may Allah reward you and bless you for your comments, your feedback, your suggestions and your du'as. May Allah forgive any of our mistakes.